Tonight's movie review was requested by OAW Faithful, Hard to Explain 32. Salute to you, sir. And if you have a request for a film that you would like to see reviewed right here on OAW Entertainment, become a patron at patreon.com/OAW and select the blockbuster tier. At that tier, not only do you get your requests, but you also get access to all Patreon exclusive content. You get access to the OAW Vault, and you get an invitation to join in on the live monthly Q&A held right here on the OAW YouTube channel, as well as the OAW Facebook page. So once again, that is patreon.com/OAW and select the blockbuster tier. And with that being said, this is going to be my review of Martin Scorsese's epic crime classic, Casino. Let's get on with it.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
Greetings to everyone watching live and everybody watching after the fact. Shout out to the faithful and salute to the patrons. This is Larry Williams, OAW Commander-in-Chief.
And Bryce Duncan.
That's right.
Casino.
Yeah, that's right, man. I had to go and get my boy B Rizzo on this one, man, because when I told him this got requested, he was like, "Oh, dude, I got to get in on that one." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, shit, dude, because that's one of your favorite films, right? I forgot about that." Yeah. But yeah, so my man B Rizzo is joining us here tonight. We are going to go ahead and we're taking a look at Casino. Now, before we go ahead and share our thoughts on this film, once again, I am going to be reading, giving you all some background information and a brief synopsis of the film that is listed in the description box below. So please feel free to read along. But also, guys, I will, if time permits, I'll see about what questions or comments I can get to. But if you want to make sure that your question or your comment gets answered right here live on the air before the end of tonight's broadcast, you can always drop a super chat. If you want to support the channel, you can also do so via Cash App and PayPal. Link to those are in the description box below as well. So let me go ahead, pull up my metadata, if you will. And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, please feel free to read along. So this is my review of the 1995 American epic crime film Casino, starring Robert De Niro, Sharon Stone, and Joe Pesci. The film was directed by Martin Scorsese, produced by Barbara De Fina, and distributed by Universal Pictures. It is based on the nonfiction book Casino, Love and Honor in Las Vegas by Nicholas Pileggi. Pileggi, who also co-wrote the screenplay for the film with Scorsese. And brief synopsis of Casino. In early 1970s Las Vegas, low-level mobster Sam Ace Rothstein gets tapped by his bosses to head the Tangiers Casino. At first, he is a great success in his job, but over the years, problems with his loose cannon enforcer, Nicky Santoro, his ex-hustler wife, Ginger, her con artist ex Lester Diamond, and a handful of corrupt politicians put Sam in ever-increasing danger. Now, here's the thing about that synopsis. So I went ahead and I pulled up that synopsis off of Google. Dude, the original synopsis I had for tonight's stream was the one that's on IMDb. But here's the thing about that. The one on IMDb is a tad bit disingenuous. And I'm like, that's not really what happens in the film. Which is the main reason why I decided not to use it. But real quick, just for shits and giggles, I'll go ahead. I'll tell y'all what IMDb says. IMDb says, a tale of greed, deception, money, power, and murder occur between two best friends, a mafia enforcer, and a casino executive. Compete against each other over a gambling empire and over a fast-living and fast-loving socialite. That's not really what Casino is.
It's kind of what it's about thematically.
Yeah, but Sam and Nikki aren't rivals, and Ginger's not a socialite.
Well, yeah. I mean, she sort of is. Well, I guess depends on how you define that. But
okay, so all right, so a little bit more detail about Casino just from a story perspective. So yeah, essentially what the film does is it tells the rise and fall of this sort of mafia-backed casino operation in the synopsis said the late 70s, but it's actually more of a decade because we open the film in 1983 and then we jump back 10 years. So it's sort of, oh, and remember because the first scene is when the incident with Sam's car, right? So if you think about it, it's like really it's the story over the course of over the course of 10 years. Because until we get that final narration from Sam, we are right up to that event, right? But essentially it's telling the story of how Sam and his associates pretty much solidified that casino operation, and then how Nicky, once he moved out to LA, how he was able to set up his operation, and then we see their rise to power, if you will, in the first half of the movie, and then the whole second half is the inevitable downfall, right? So, but yeah, so without further ado, man, Bryce, I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna swing this one to you, my man, because I'm almost positive you've seen this film way more than I have.
I've seen it a couple times over the year when I could see too. So
I've only seen it twice in its entirety, from opening credit to ending credit.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen a bunch of scenes, but I've only watched it all the way through twice, and that's just because it's so damn long. Because it's 3 hours.
Yeah, it's pretty long.
But I am so yeah. So what do I want to hear some of your thoughts in terms of the story, in terms of the writing, in terms of the plot, especially since I think you're a little bit more familiar with the source material that the film is actually based off of as well. So real quick, what are your like overall thoughts on the film in terms of its writing?
Oh, I mean, its writing is good. I mean, it's Scorsese and Nicholas Pileggi who co-wrote the screenplay. He wrote the book. It's based on real life people. As far as the history of it, the film is pretty accurate to what happened with these mob guys. Uh, Robert De Niro and Joe Pesci, the guys they're based on, and Sharon Stone's character, that all pretty much happened the way it happened in the mid-70s in Vegas, with the mafia controlling or strongly influencing casinos on the Strip, and so that's interesting. And Nicholas Pileggi also wrote Wise Guy, which is what the film Goodfellas is based on. Or he wrote the book that Goodfellas is based on, which it's just funny about this film because it's kind of similar to Scorsese's other film, Goodfellas. You know, some people jokingly call this like Goodfellas Junior because there's similar things like you have voiceover narration. In this case, it's De Niro and Pesci. There's two narrations, and the kind of rise fall archetype, the rise of success, and then the fall, and then how it all ends. So Scorsese's definitely treading in a similar thematic territory here. It's similar to Goodfellas. It's even kind of similar a little bit to his other films. Mean Streets, that's an earlier 70s film, and a little bit like The Departed, actually, in some ways, just because that's also involves the mob, but that's kind of different. But anyway, no, man, I like it a lot. I think the writing's really good. To quote one of the lines from the film, uh, Vegas is like a morality car wash. It does for us what the water at Lord's does for cripples and humpbacks. And you see just this tale of avarice and greed and all this corruption and shit, and how it all comes apart. And it's fascinating, man. Anyway, I like it a lot.
Yeah, what I dug about the film a lot was, number one, how informative it is, because it pretty
Yeah.
much breaks down to you like how it was they were able to do everything that they were able to do back
Yes.
then,
Yeah.
and how what was really interesting about it was, even though, because essentially like the setup is like it's only Sam and maybe a handful of other guys that are actually in Vegas, because the rest of the bosses can't go west of Kansas City, you know.
Yeah. Baron
um
and
but it's
Chicago. Yeah.
yeah, but it's like, but the manner in which they were able to operate, being that far away,
Hmm.
Even back then, because back then they didn't have cell phones, they didn't have the internet, they didn't have any of that, right? So how their organization was structured and how the network was structured in a way to enable them to do that, I thought was actually pretty cool. Even though we get to see sort of like the lines of communication break down and what happens when that happens, but the fact that they were even able to pull that off in the first place, I thought was really cool.
Yeah.
The
Go
way
ahead.
the skimming, like when they talked about how they skimmed, like how that system was set up, where it's like they wouldn't even so much as count the money as it was they would just weigh the suitcase, which I thought was cool. Um,
Yeah.
and so yeah, so it's like so that I thought was really good. And then I mean we'll get into the characters a
Hmm.
little bit later on, but it's like I like how in this story you don't have it's not you don't have a lot of repeat archetypes. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? Every character is sort of unique in the sense that
Well, they're
that
just.
character and the role they play in that story
Mhm.
is so distinct to them. There's only one
Sure.
Sam in this movie. There's only one
Yeah.
Nicky in this movie. You know what I
Sure.
mean?
Yeah. 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 No, the characters are very. They're very distinct, and actually, uh, Sharon Stone was nominated for a Best Actress for this for her performance.
Oh,
That
I
was.
believe it.
Yeah. She. I think she won the Golden Globe for it, but she didn't get the Oscar. But yeah, no. And then just some other just historical context about the mob and the mafia. So this is in the 70s. It starts in history and in the movie chronologically. It's like 1972, 1973. And at this point in US history, it's like you have, it's like, uh, the whole mafia, it started back in New York and they came to power during Prohibition. And you have like New York and Chicago, and you have all the separate mobs. But then in the 50s, they start they start cracking down on the mob. And then that starts to happen throughout the decades, kind of in New York and these other places. But but kind of like the mob's activity in Vegas and all the criminal shit they were doing, uh, like that's still going on in the 70s. So it's almost kind of like a period of like kind of like a last big hurrah for like organized crime, where it's clear that organized crime has a foothold of power.
Yeah, because yeah, exactly. Because this whole movie,
You know what I mean?
yeah, because
Yeah.
because the whole movie, the threat of law enforcement is constant, it's
Yeah.
consistent the whole time, and even by the time Nicky moves to Vegas, like that's one of the first things Sam tells him is like, dude, it's hot out here.
Yeah.
It's like I got pulled over just the other, I got pinched twice.
Because he's
You
trying
know,
to warn him to not go too crazy,
right,
basically.
and then
Yeah.
and that's when we find out about the black book, and well, dude, the reason why the bosses could never make it to Vegas was because it's like as soon as they cross state line, boom, it's like they're
Yeah.
on everybody's radar. Dude, even like later in the film when they're talking about like, dude, all the stuff they had to do in order to avoid
Oh yeah.
5-0, dude, dude, this I love the scene when Nicky and his number two are talking in the parking lot outside the jewelry store,
Gotta
and they're
cover them.
watching them. They're
They gotta
watching
cover
them in
them.
the yeah, they gotta cover them out. So yeah, so you have police, they're in the motel across the street.
Hmm.
And what's crazy about it is they're smoking at the time. So they have to like wrap their hand around the cigarette to
Hmm.
cover their mouths.
Yeah.
It looks like they're having like suckers or lollipops or something, right?
Yeah.
But they have to cover their mouth so that they because fucking FBI hired lip readers.
I know.
Um,
Yeah, there's that, and then like yeah, and like Joe Pesci's character, he buys all the at the time top of the line surveillance stuff, uh because he's getting more, more heat is coming on him, and then like, what is it? The thing like he switches
He has
cars.
to switch cars. Yeah.
Yeah. No, and
He
so
switches
like,
cars like 6 times
yeah, like
just to
6 times
lose his tails.
just to lose his tail. No, it's funny. No, it's cool.
And
And
he had to always use like underground garages
mhm.
because the copper, dude, no, bruh, B, the plane at the country club on the golf
The
course.
golf course. Yeah. When
Dude.
yeah, I know we're skipping around a little bit, but kind of what happens is uh there's the thing with Sam's Robert De Niro's character Sam Rothstein with his gaming license, and it's like he has this gaming license, but then the cops are after him because he fires this guy at the casino, and then that guy's the brother-in-law of the sheriff, and the sheriff's trying to talk to Sam, but like, hey man, like you shouldn't fire him, and he's like, he's kind of like, fuck that, he's a bad employee, and then they come after him for his gaming license and his gangster connections and shit. So it's during this meeting, like with his lawyers and crap, uh and then but Nicky's there, and they're watching Nicky, and the plane has to land on the fucking fairway
On the
because they
green,
on the
dude,
green because they run out of
because
gas.
they ran out of gas because they were eyes in the sky watching Nicky while he's playing freaking golf, right? But yeah,
And
so
I was
so
just
going so going back. Oh, what you got? What you got?
oh no, I was just gonna say just because you said eye in the sky, and no, I was gonna mention you mentioned earlier about the count and the skim and how they set all this up.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, no, the thing they're describing how the money gets taken, how they pay off the guards and everything. But uh, but the really cool little montage of it's like the dealers are watching the players. It's like yeah,
Oh, when they go through like the hierarchy
the hierarchy. Yeah,
of the casino personnel.
of the casino personnel. Yeah, it's like dealers watching players, floormen watching dealers, pit bosses watching floormen, or maybe that's reversed. And then the shift manager is watching them, and then I'm meaning Robert De Niro because he's narrating. I'm watching the shift manager, and the eye in the sky
Is
watches
watching
us all.
everybody.
Is watching us all, and it's the cameras, and then it cuts to the overhead view, and how they have a lot of ex cheats watching all the cameras to make sure nobody's cheating,
Yeah.
which that comes up, and then um, a couple of the players are cheating. They're using these hand signals and whatnot, and then they get roughed up royally uh,
Yeah,
by
they pretty,
Robert.
they pretty much they pretty much like show you like what happens if you try to cheat the casino.
Yeah, no, and that's how, yeah. So they screw up. They catch these guys cheating, and they freaking beat this
Oh, you froze on me.
one guy's hand with a hammer. It kind of reminds me of that scene in The Departed where Jack Nicholson hits. Oh, hello.
Yeah, yeah. You're
Can
on.
you hear
You're
me?
good now. You're good now.
Hello.
Yeah, you good.
Okay. Yeah. No. Yeah. No. Like. Yeah. No. They catch these guys cheating and they rough them up, but it's through methods like that Rothstein that he doubles the profits of the casino because there's no more cheating because it's like, whoa, it's like if you go to that casino and cheat, you're going to get like the shit beat out of you. So he makes sure he's weirdly ethical in that way, even if he's just trying to line his own pockets. He's like, hey, like no cheating, and because he's so good at sports gambling and whatnot and betting and
Since you mentioned that, can we go ahead and transition over to the characters? Because that's sort of the interesting thing about Sam. It's like Sam is Sam's an OG
yeah,
in like the traditional classical sense. He's an original gangster, right? But like you said, like Sam has a code,
yeah,
and he operates in that code. Like there are rules,
yeah,
even though he's running a pretty much a criminal enterprise. Um, there are rules to how it's done.
Yeah, I
right?
mean,
And one of the things that sort of puts him at odds with Nicky is that Nicky starts to break the rules.
yeah, no.
Um,
Sam is just trying to, he's just trying to make a shit ton of money, but run a conventional business, even if some dirty stuff's going on behind the scenes. Whereas Nicky is just like, well, to him it's the Wild West, and Nicky's doing all these crimes, and it's one of those things where it's like Sam needs them. Like, I mean, like they're friends and they love each other and they know each other, but it's like he's Sam's muscle for the casino, so Sam needs him. But Nicky's going off and doing all his own shit with burglaries and jewelry robbery, and that's what brings the heat on and stuff. So, and that's what creates the tension between them later. You know,
yeah, I would art like I mean, dude, let's be real about this though. Let's be real about this. For the most part, Sam does run a clean shop because
yeah, he does,
that's
and
one
he's
of the
trying to.
reasons. Well, but consider this. It's one of the reasons why Sam fights so hard to get his gaming license because so far like all the people that were involved in restricting him from being able to get that license, so far as they're concerned, he hadn't done anything wrong. That's how clean,
Yeah.
like even though of course Sam's working for the mob and with the skimming and everything, but they don't know that, and they wouldn't be able to
Well,
prove that. And that's Sam's whole
yeah.
point. It's like, you can't prove that I've done anything wrong, so why is it that, oh, my license hearing, like y'all just straight up reject it? It's like I was supposed to have a hearing.
Well, yeah, no, because well, no, and it's one of those things where it's like it's interesting because there's the scene with him and the sheriff, and again, this he fires this guy because these jackpots get hit on these machines. So Sam gets pissed. He fires that guy because the casino's losing money. That guy is the sheriff's brother-in-law, and the sheriff comes and he's just trying to talk to Sam. And it seems to me like that sheriff, like he knows what's going on, kind of, because he's like, hey, like just as a personal favor to me, like kind of like I scratch your back, you scratch my back. But then Sam is stubborn. He's like, no, no. He's like, he's a bad, incompetent guy. And this is one of the pivotal lines of the movie to me. The sheriff is like, well, well, do you want us to start looking into you and your gangster friends like Nicky? Huh? And he's kind of like, he's like, you can't prove that. But then he's like, Mr. Rothstein, he's like, he's like, y'all come out here and y'all act like it's home, but y'all are really just guests. And it's a really good scene because it's like just this foreboding quality. But Sam is so vain and he thinks he won't ever get caught or they'll never find out. He's like, all right. And then that's kind of like how the cops really start looking into this more. So it's probably one of those situations where it's like they kind of sort of know what's going on, but they turn a blind eye to it. But then when their uh, way of life is or what they want is being threatened, then it's like, all right, we got to bring the hammer down on these guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like that was another thing I thought that was interesting about the film too. Like, it kind of introduced us to sort of like the good old boy
Yeah,
um
that worked.
culture
Yeah,
of the state of Nevada. Um which I thought was interesting because usually whenever we do, like, Vegas stuff like that, it's always from the mobster's perspective. We
sure.
don't actually get to see too much of the people who are born there, like
The
the
residents, the
yeah,
local
the
people.
residents.
Yeah.
Um okay, but yeah, so but getting back to the characters though, it's like, yeah, like Sam I thought was a really intriguing character. Like I said, just because he's so straight laced, considering the line of work he's in.
Mhm.
But it also makes sense too because he's such a calculated individual.
Mhm.
Because of course, his whole thing is like he's a gambler. And
Yeah.
so he is constantly weighing and analyzing every potential risk, right?
Yeah.
And that is reflected in his personality because it also pertains to how he deals with people.
Right. Yeah. And it's and
Except one. There's one. For as
we
good, because Sam has that line. He's like, I know how to call winners, but there's just that one fucking character that he was just wrong. He was just wrong.
oh well, you're talking about Ginger.
Oh hell yeah.
Well, yeah.
Oh
Well,
yeah, hell yeah.
well, no, this is uh yeah, no, and of course, like the scene I just referenced, uh so the cops are really starting to, Nicky's doing his crimes and shit, and he's crazy. So the cops are coming down on him for that, and they're starting to investigate Sam and how that affects Sam. But of course, all this dovetails conveniently, and again, this is mostly true to real life from what I've read. That dovetails with his relationship with Ginger, who's played by Sharon Stone, and she's and she's a gold digging hustler. uh she used to be a model and everything, and but he falls for her, and
Like a
and
ton of
like
bricks.
yeah, he falls for
Like a
her like a
ton
ton,
of bricks.
which I don't blame him. It's Sharon Stone. uh,
Okay, okay. You know what? Credit where credit is due. She's a fucking not. She's a knockout in this movie, dude. Like
she's a
God,
fox. Yeah,
dude.
no. But no, no, and she's cool. But no, so everything starts off happy, and yeah, I mean, I hate to keep referencing Goodfellas, but I mean, it is well, Sam and Ginger's relationship is different than Henry and Karen's because Karen's a totally innocent person, and he kind of ropes her into that. But anyway, uh, but no, it starts off all happy, but it's clearly this mutually codependent uh just quest for
Oh,
and that
you're breaking up
and
again.
that's
You're
oh
breaking up again. Repeat that.
oh no, I was saying I was saying, I mean, clearly their relationship is just based on mutual greed and just wanting money and shit, and so that's how they get involved, and everything's happy as long as the money keeps flowing in. But then the cops and all this stuff uh start coming after them, and then Sam gets all paranoid with his and then that leads to the downfall of he and Ginger's relationship, and then she's half crazy anyway, so well, she kind of goes crazy, so
Yeah, but you also had the stuff with the ex boyfriend and all that other
well, yeah,
jazz.
yeah, no, we do, which that stuff is funny, yeah, because her ex boyfriend, he's just this local con artist, golf hustler. Dude, that scene where De Niro confronts him, went like, because
In the diner.
in
Yeah.
the, yeah, no, because Ginger will never not love this guy, even though he's a low life, and he's played by James Woods. His name is Lester Diamond. The character's name's Lester Diamond. It's James Woods. He's really good in it. But yeah, so it's like she'll never leave him. And he's basically just a low life scummy pimp, but she's basically stealing from Sam and giving Lester money and shit, and De Niro knows that's going on, so he doesn't like that, and he's jealous and whatnot. Yeah, and there's a scene where she gives Lester money, and then De Niro sees this, like he's kind of keeping an eye on her, and he kind of confronts him, and he's like, "Hey," he's kind of like, "Hey, like, if uh, uh, if you're
Take
gonna
your
take
time.
her money,
Sound it out.
uh, uh, if you're gonna take her money, take mine too." And he gives him his money. He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Now get the fuck out of here." He's trying to be nice, you know. It's funny. He lets him go, and then later he gets beat up.
The so yeah, the last character I want to talk about, funny enough, man. Okay, so what was weird? I didn't think I'd like Joe Pesci as much as I did in this role.
Oh, I love him in this.
Dude, this might be my favorite Joe Pesci performance.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Goodfellas.
Well, but here's the thing about but
Because
here's the thing.
he's
But
kind of
but
playing the same character.
no, he's not. No, he's not. I would argue he is not.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, Nicky is not Tommy
Well,
because Nicky is smarter than Tommy, and Nicky is more crafty than Tommy.
a
Tommy's a
little
resident
bit.
hothead, dude. Pesci's performance in this film, dude. Nicky is so like cunning
Mm-hmm.
that dude, he is scary. Dude, he's scary in this. Dude, this is the first film I was legit scared of Joe Pesci since I was 6 years old watching Home Alone.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
Yeah.
for the first time. For the first time, before I knew that Home Alone was just live action Looney Tunes. When I
Right.
thought that the Wet Bandits were an actual legit threat,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and you just got creepy little Joe Pesci. Okay, I ain't been afraid of Joe Pesci since because we done had Home Alone 1, we done had Home Alone 2, we done had the Lethal Weapon movies,
Yeah.
all that type of jazz, right? Going back and watching this though, dude, I am legit scared of Nicky.
Well, yeah, no, well, I mean, I say he's like Tommy or he's like Goodfellas because well, I mean, they're both hot-headed and they're both violent as hell and they're both criminals. So I mean, they're both enforcers and don't cross them. I mean, I'm not sure there's anything quite like the the you talking to me scene in this because that's scary in Goodfellas. You know what I mean?
Wait, which one?
Well, no, I'm talking about
Because you
well no.
talking to me, that's Taxi Driver.
Oh, Jesus, I'm sorry. No, yeah, no, that's Taxi Driver. No, I meant this. How am I funny?
Oh, the how
How am I funny is scary. The
I
first
don't
time
know,
you
dude.
see
I
them
always knew that was a joke. Make,
didn't not well, not the first time I saw it, which was years ago.
dude, the first time I saw Goodfellas, I picked up. I'm like, he's not serious. um,
But
nah,
any,
dude, no, dude. The
mhm.
I I just got to disagree, man. I don't think Pesci was never as scary in Goodfellas as he is in this. Because legit, my favorite scene in this brief spoiler, well, not a spoiler, but a surprise. Like, because I'm just sharing this with the audience watching.
Oh, I
My
thought we
favorite
were
scene.
spoiling this. I'm sorry if I spoiled too much earlier.
Nah, not really. Well, actually, we haven't spoiled anything about the ending, though. If you think about it, we haven't said what happens to
Oh,
any of the characters at the end of the movie. So don't
yeah.
spoil it. So don't spoil it.
Okay, all right, I'll keep
But
that in mind.
but dude, my favorite scene in this movie, the desert scene
Oh
when
yeah,
they
where
meet up
he's
in
mm-hmm.
the desert because Nicky found out that Sam mentioned what Nicky was doing to one of the underbosses, and Nicky went off,
Oh,
dude.
dude, dude. I just rewatched that scene. God, it's scary, but dude, it is funny as shit how Joe Pesci rips into him, and that's just part of Scorsese and Pileggi's writing because it's just funny how they yell at each other.
Yeah, dude, but no, but like Nicky is like scary.
Yeah, no,
Scary. And then dude, and like I said, like, and the other thing too, he's not the same type of hothead that Tommy is.
not quite.
His head is still on his shoulders somewhat, because dude, like, and this is when I caught it, because I'm watching the film, and yeah, and I'm thinking of Nicky in the same sense that I'm thinking of Tommy. And I'm gonna tell you the scene that kind of made me snap out of it though.
Hmm.
You remember the argument that he has with Ginger at the restaurant, where
Yeah,
she wants him to kill Sam, and he
hmm.
says, "Why
No,
the hell am I gonna kill Sam? I've
my
known him
best friend.
35 years. You
Yeah,
think I'm gonna whack him for you,
yeah.
dude?" That's when I'm like, dude, Nicky is not to be fooled with. This, oh my, dude. I'm like, no, dude. He's not just, blowing off the synopsis says he's a loose cannon. I'm like, he thinks about this stuff a lot more than I think he's given credit.
Yeah.
He's just willing to go to extremes other people aren't willing to go. to. That
Yeah, I
doesn't mean
mean,
that he hadn't. Dude, it's not like when Tommy killed Billy Bats. Nicky doesn't have a Billy Bats moment. Well, hang on, no, because yeah, he does. I take that back. Yes, he does. He does have a Billy Bats moment. Yes, he
yeah.
does. He does.
Well, I still at least think of them as similar characters because they're violent. Well, and then, in Goodfellas, though, actually, okay, like if the "How am I funny" thing, if the "How am I funny" scene isn't scary, when he shoots that waiter kid out of the blue, that,
Oh, Spider.
yeah,
Spider. Yeah,
when it's
the
like,
spider scene is okay. The spider scene
that
is
is
yeah.
scary because it's so random. Because De Niro's like, what's the world coming to? Pow, 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 and he shoots. He's like, that's what the fucking world's coming to. It's like, and then he's like, yeah, he's like, fuck it, I'll dig the hole. I don't care. And it's like, whoa, Jesus Christ, you know.
What do you think? This is the
And
first hole I dug?
but oh, and small actually, just because keep talking about Goodfellas, but no, another good Joe Pesci role, another Scorsese movie, Raging Bull, where he's not crazy and not violent. He's Jake LaMotta's brother. He's a normal guy in that movie, and that's another good performance. But
This one might be my favorite, man. This one might be my favorite.
oh, I like this a lot, and the scenes the specific scene, oh, and the music in this movie is good,
Oh yeah, oh
which
yeah.
is so, I mean, that's one of the common things of Scorsese, and he uses so much, he uses the Rolling Stones all the time, and he uses the House of the Rising Sun in a pivotal scene. That's really good. But the scene where it's the Rolling Stones, Cocaine Eyes, that's playing, uh,
Hmm.
and you see all of Nicky's crimes,
Yeah,
like when he's of like the gang he brings out there, and when he's doing all this shit that he's doing out there, and that's really cool.
yeah.
And how he starts to establish himself out there. Uh,
But
that's a
yeah,
really cool
I
sequence.
think I mean I know Stone got the nominations and whatnot. Honestly, dude, I think the breakout in this one, well, yeah, no, I gotta give it to Nicky, man. I gotta give it to Pesci. I gotta give it to
Well,
Pesci. He's the
yeah,
standout.
yeah, no, I mean, he is great, and then probably part of the reason they didn't nominate Joe Pesci is because I think he did win for Goodfellas. I think he got Best Supporting Actor for that, and they're probably thinking like, well, it's kind of a similar enough character. But anyway, whatever. That's just the Academy. It doesn't matter. But
Okay, that's
yeah,
weird.
yeah.
Yeah, I would no, that's weird. I would have I would have given De Niro Best Supporting for Fellas, and I would have given Pesci Best Supporting for this. Um.
Well, no.
Anyway,
Oh, and then Nikki. One of my favorite little things. I forget exactly what part of the movie. I mean, it's at least midway through the movie, but the scene where he goes to collect the payment from the guy,
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah. That's yeah.
he's like, and the guy's like, oh, he's like, oh, I thought you were going to come by. It's like, no, I need it now. It's like, oh, I'm confused. It's like, oh, you're confused. It's like, how about I stick your fucking head through that window? You get unconfused.
It's like, yeah, you had the damn money on you this whole time.
Dude, no, his, like, just, and dude, like, just how he says that, and just the look on his face, dude, like, that is fucking like, whoa, okay, like, that's scary. I don't know, like, yeah, and it's just like, oh, yeah, it's like, I'm confused. It's like, oh, well, it's like, oh, make you unconfused, or however he puts it. It's funny.
Oh,
uh
dude,
yeah.
dude. All right. So funny enough, we mentioned music. Um, anything? I mean, because we talked about the story, we talked about the characters, we just briefly mentioned music. I mean, we could. I mean, we do. We. I feel like if we start talking about cinematography, we're gonna be here another hour.
Well, the
Um,
cinematography's, I mean,
it's
it's really,
Scorsese. I
yeah, I
mean,
mean,
it,
yeah, it goes without saying, but I mean, it's really cool, particularly, uh, I know I referenced it earlier, but when they're going through the hierarchy of the dealers watching the players, and how the camera moves from person to person, and it's so fluid and seamless, and the count room, and and how he films the inner workings of the casino, that is so cool looking. Oh, and I really like the opening credits of this movie, like how
Oh
it's,
yeah. Hmm.
yeah, just the whole opening credits, because it's like you see, it's like you see the Vegas Strip and the casinos, but there's this choral music, the dramatic epic music, and it just, and it so hooks you into this, like, it, like, this is going to be like an epic tale of like an empire falling, it's so puts you in that mindset right away, right off the bat, and it's so cool. And uh well, and I mean, and that's in the narration too, because I mean, it starts off kind of
It
at the
ends like
end.
that too, though.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Remember
Well,
when
yeah.
Sam's giving the final narration, and you see like all the little montage where it's like they're like imploding like some of
Mm,
the
yeah,
casinos and the
yeah, no,
hotels, and they're building the new ones. And
yeah, yeah, all that stuff, yeah. And then and God, and it is kind of like Goodfellas, except in the sense of well, Henry Hill's under witness protection, but Sam is just like, so now I'm just right back where I started.
hey, don't give
And
away the ending. Don't give
no,
away the ending.
that's
That's the last scene.
yeah. Well, I mean, you were just talking about the,
I was talking about the narration.
I know you were talking about the casinos imploding. Uh,
Right.
anyway,
But you can Google that.
anyway, but
Wah,
I
wah, wah. Okay, okay,
didn't
okay,
spoil anything. It's pretty
okay.
well, dude. We've been. If anybody's following this along, and you know anything about Scorsese films, which I'm assuming most of your audience has at some point seen some of us, you can kind of guess what's going to happen. But it's not like some big plot twist. But
No,
anyway.
what happens with Sam at the end was a little bit of a plot twist. You
Mm,
remember that particular detail?
yeah,
Yeah,
but
I didn't see that. I didn't see that coming. I was like, oh,
yeah,
well, that okay, okay. That was kind of cool actually.
yeah. No, it is.
Um, yeah. All right. So
Sorry though, if I said too much.
no, it's cool. It's cool. Cool. So tell you what. Yeah. I think we kind of said our piece on Casino.
Yeah.
Close. Like pretty much like final thoughts on the film.
Oh man, I like it a lot. I mean, I like a lot of Scorsese stuff. It's I mean, I probably like some of his other films better, but this is really, it's a really good, solid film. It's a lot of fun. It is about 2.5 hours or 3 hours, but it
Oh, it's
flies.
3 hours. I clocked it.
Oh well,
It's
no, but
just shy of 3 hours.
no, but it doesn't feel like 3 hours. It's not slow.
It felt
It
like 3 hours.
Not to me.
It felt like 3 hours.
Not to me. I think it was paced really well, and yeah, no, I mean the acting is good. I mean, it's De Niro, Pesci, Sharon Stone, James Woods, Don Rickles is one of the bosses. He's funny. He's one of the Kansas City guys. The writing's really good. The cinematography, yeah, it's just a really fun, good, all around movie. Again, not maybe sure where I'd rank it if I was forced to quote unquote rank it against his other films, but it's a hell of a lot of fun, and definitely check it out. I would say.
Unlike Mr. Duncan, no, it felt like three. You want to know what a Martin Scorsese movie that's damn near 3 hours that don't feel like 3 hours is? That's Wolf of Wall Street.
Hmm.
No,
Yeah.
this one felt like 3 hours.
Mm.
Easy. Felt like 3 hours. Somebody did ask though, it's like um where we would rank this film.
I mean,
Because somebody
what?
brought up like, Goodfellas or Casino. If that's gonna be the case, I'm going with Goodfellas just because Goodfellas has more memorable scenes, more memorable dialogue. Of course, Ray Liotta. Um,
Yeah.
some of the other, Lorraine Brosco, some of the
Yeah.
other cast. I
Right.
mean, Goodfellas. See, that's the difference. Goodfellas is an ensemble. This
Well,
is
this
pretty
is
much
too.
no. This is kind of anchored. Sam, Nikki, and Ginger are the anchors of this film, though.
Well, yeah, but Ray Liotta, Robert De Niro, and Joe Pesci kind of are in Goodfellas, though, roughly speaking. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but Karen gets a lot to do in that.
Well, yeah, but so does Sharon Stone in this. Well,
Yeah,
anyway,
yeah,
no,
I guess.
well, no, but no, I, I see what you're saying though. But yeah, as far as between those two films, I'd go Goodfellas, and then as far as Scorsese overall, I mean, I love, I love Taxi Driver. I've always loved Gangs of New York a lot. Maybe people wouldn't rank that one quite as high, but I love Gangs of New York. I like The Departed a lot. Um, Silence was also interesting. That felt like 3 hours, uh, but that was an interesting movie. So yeah, and Raging Bull's really great. So I don't know. It would. I don't. I can't think of an exact number, but I probably like some of those other films better. Uh, just because I like those stories better.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I would say. Yeah, that's what I would say.
yeah.
I don't.
It's not even necessarily a qualitative argument against Casino. It's just I prefer some of those other movies more.
Right.
Just my own personal preference, just for what the stories are. Yeah, I'd probably go Taxi Driver or Goodfellas or Gangs of New
Curious.
York or The Departed. What's up?
What's your favorite Scorsese movie?
Favorite? Oh man,
If you could pick only one.
shit. Um, it's almost tied for me between Taxi Driver and Gangs in New York, but as different as those movies are, because God, I mean, I love Daniel Day-Lewis in Gangs in New York, and that is so interesting. Just the history, all the history that's involved in that, and how that's a real thing that happened in American history. That's not, you don't learn about that in high school class. But Taxi Driver is so interesting. Just it's because it's De Niro and he's this vigilante and he's crazy, and Jodie Foster's performance in that is so good too. Uh, so, but damn,
Real quick, I got a gun to your head. You got 5 seconds. Which one?
Taxi Driver. There, I'll
Okay,
just say Taxi Driver.
and that's your favorite.
Okay, Taxi Driver. There, and
so I'm I mean, no one asked. I'm just gonna throw this out there because I was curious myself. I'm gonna get a whole bunch of fucking like funny looks for this one. Favorite? I didn't say the best now, dude. I'm gonna be real. My favorite Scorsese movie, believe it or not, might be The Aviator.
oh, I like The Aviator a lot, dude. Yeah,
That one might be
DiCaprio
my
as Howard
favorite one.
Hughes.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
one might be my favorite one. Cause that one, dude, I will watch that movie just because.
yeah,
Like just because. And if it's on TV, chances are I'm gonna turn it on. If nothing else, just to have it play in the background. Um
yeah. And for me, that probably like Casino is definitely a rewatchable movie, kind of in the same way that Goodfellas can be. But I kind of feel that way about Gangs in New York or The Departed. Like I could like if that movie's on, I can just watch it. Whereas The Aviator, you've seen that one more than me. I've seen that movie once all the way through. It's great. DiCaprio is Howard Hughes.
yeah, I've
Is it?
seen that movie over 20 times.
Yeah, yeah. No. Is
Probably
it?
close to 50.
Is it? Kate Blanchett as Katharine Hepburn?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
it
No.
has Kate Blanchett, John C. Riley,
Mm-hmm.
um,
Oh, it's great
Alec
though.
Baldwin,
Mm.
um, who else? Wait, shit, who else is in that one?
Those are the
Fucking
main.
what's his face? What is his name? Pretty boy, Sleuth.
Um,
Jude. Wait, yeah, Jude Law. Jude Law, isn't it?
oh, Jude Law's in it. Yeah, no, that is a really fun movie, and DiCaprio's performance in that is so good. I mean, how you
Kate
see.
Beckinsale's in it.
Oh yeah,
Ooh.
she's in it. Oh yeah, she's Ava Gardner, I think.
Hmm.
Yeah, no,
Um.
yeah, no, and DiCaprio's performance. I mean, how he and again, and that follows a similar rise and fall thing of Howard Hughes is just this such an innovative guy, but that's the classic tale of uh of the mad genius, and like there's a thin line between genius and madness, and he was so
It's
eccentric.
Icarus.
Yeah,
Literally, it's
yeah,
Icarus.
yeah, no, it's Icarus. Yeah, he flies too close to the sun. And how he descends into craziness. Yeah, because I mean, God, the ending of that when he's like, just talking to himself in that room, it's like, whoa.
Way of the future.
Yeah,
Way of the future.
yeah. Come in
Way of
with
the
the milk.
future. Way of the future. Way of the future.
Yeah.
But anywho, but yeah. So, but all right.
Did
Wait, what's up?
I was gonna ask, just thinking of Scorsese stuff. Did you ever see Hugo? I didn't see
I
that.
still haven't watched. I still haven't watched Hugo. I
I'd
still
like to
haven't
see
seen it.
it, but anywho,
It's still on the to-do list.
and I hadn't seen The Irishman yet, but I know you don't care for that one as much.
Yeah. Oh God, did not. Oh man. Oh. TV series.
Hmm.
It should have been a TV series. It should have been an 8-part, 30-minute TV series.
Yeah,
Because that's a 4-hour movie.
I've heard that said too.
Yeah. It should have been 8 episodes, 30 minutes,
Hmm.
and it should have been a series. It should have been an HBO series.
Yeah, but yeah, man, Casino, great stuff. I like it a lot. Really enjoyable, and yeah, man, it's a cool movie.
Yep.
Check it out, y'all.
All right, so you heard it from here. Casino has the OAW Commander in Chief's recommendation. It has my man B Rizzle's recommendation. Feel free check it out. Right now, I believe it is airing on Showtime. So you guys will be able to catch it there. I think it's still on Netflix. I know it was on Netflix for a long time too. But yeah, by all means, check it out. Once again, want to take this opportunity. So first and foremost, let me take this opportunity. Thank everybody for watching live. Thanks everybody for watching after the fact. As always, like, comment, share, and subscribe. Follow me on social media, facebook.com/OAW Entertainment, twitter.com/OAWENT MT, and twitch.tv/OAW_entertainment. And of course, right here on youtube.com/OAW Entertainment. Once again, another huge shout out to OAW Faithful Hard to Explain 32 for recommending this film for review. And if you have a film that you would like to see reviewed right here on OAW Entertainment, become a patron. Patreon.com/OAW, select the blockbuster tier. With that tier, not only do you get your request for a film or a television series that you would like to see reviewed, but you also get access to all Patreon exclusive content, the OAW Vault, and you get an invite to join in right here live on the broadcast for the monthly Q&A that's held right here on the OAW YouTube channel as well as the OAW Facebook page. The monthly Q&A, like the one that will be going down this Friday. This Friday is July's monthly Q&A. So if you are a patron, guess what? You get to join in on the broadcast. Yes. Once again, that is patreon.com/OAW. Select the blockbuster tier. All right. So what to keep an eye out for later this week? I have a manga first impressions that will be coming up later this week. Probably it will either be tomorrow or Thursday. And then as I mentioned, the July Q&A is going to be this Friday. I'm probably going to start a little bit earlier. So that's going to be like probably 7 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time is when I'm going to do that because I'm not staying up too late with y'all crazies in that Q&A. Keep an eye out. It's a little premature to announce it just yet, to officially announce it. Just keep an eye out later this week for some updates from me because that Transformers War for Cybertron series drops on Thursday, and I am debating making content for that. I don't know if it's going to be a full-blown review. I don't know if it's going to be commentaries. I don't know if it's going to be on YouTube. I don't know if it's going to be on Patreon, but I'm probably going to be doing something with that. So keep an eye out for that update as well. I'm also going to be posting some posts from you all for some feedback, for suggestions for the Super Chat sweepstakes, for the live Q&A on Friday, as well as some Super Chat goals that I can add to the Super Chat sweepstakes. Keep an eye on the social media, on the YouTube channel for all of that. All right, so time for us to be getting out of here. With that being said, this has been Larry Williams, OAW Commander-in-Chief.
And Bryce Duncan, thanks for having me on, man. It was fun.
And we will catch you cats later. Until next time, peace.
Bye.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?